We are here today outside the embassy of Kosovo in London to demand the immediate and unconditional release of Ikballe Huduti. Ikballe Huduti is a mother of three who has been tortured and imprisoned in Kosovo simply for writing a Facebook post.
On the 3rd of January 2020, a US-targeted drone strike killed the Iranian General Qasem Soleimani and 9 others. This was a war crime. The UN Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Executions, Agnes Callamard, said killing Soleimani most likely violated international law including human rights law, and the killing of other individuals alongside Soleimani was absolutely unlawful. Ikballe Huduti in a Facebook post condemned the killing and warned of the consequences of the killing. She wrote, Iraqi people took to the streets of Iraq shortly after the US crime to convict severely the injustice done to the two eminent figures of Iraq and Iran, to the two generals, General Soleimani and General Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes. May God grant patience, because by killing the master of the house you have killed all members of the family. Then revenge is obligatory, but there won't be limits. The media misrepresented her post, interpreting meanings from it which she did not intend, so she deleted the post. But this did not stop the police arresting her on the 7th of January.
They charged her with incitement to commit a terrorist offence. And it has to be stressed that the only basis for the charge is her Facebook post. The authorities acknowledge that she has done nothing else, and if found guilty, she could face 5 years imprisonment for merely a Facebook post.
Ikballe Huduti. His trial starts next week on Friday, the 7th of February, 2020. She has been denied bail and has already been caged for nearly a month. For the first week, Ikballe Huduti was kept in total darkness, in solitary confinement. She stopped eating in protest, according to her husband, and lost 10 kilograms in weight. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture, Juan E. Mendes, has said, solitary confinement as a punishment cannot be justified for any reason, precisely because it imposes severe mental pain and suffering beyond any reasonable retribution for criminal behavior, and thus constitutes an act defined as torture. Ikballe Huduti was also sensory deprived, kept in darkness for a week. That is also torture. Experiments have shown that after just 48 hours in dark isolation, people's brain function falls, with some subjects' memory capacity reduced by over 30%, and many subjects started hallucinating. Ikballe Huduti was tortured just for writing a Facebook post. Shame on Kosovo!
Shame on Kosovo!
Shame on Kosovo!
Shame on Kosovo!
Kosovo is on the EU-enacted Stabilization Tracking Mechanism program, aiming to gradually integrate its national policies on legal, economic and social matters with the EU, so that in the future Kosovo could qualify for EU membership. Part of this is the European Convention on Human Rights. Article 10 protects the right to freedom of expression. It states, everyone has the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedom to hold opinions and to receive and impart information and ideas without interference by public authority and regardless of frontiers.
Ikballe Huduti is an academic by profession. Kosovo has violated her right to freedom of expression. Now we are here to ask Kosovo to abide by its EU programme commitments and respect Ikballe Huduti's right to freedom of expression and release her now. Free Ikballe Huduti!
Free Ikballe Huduti!
Free Ikballe Huduti!
We are here today because an academic has been arrested just because she expressed herself, she expressed what is just, she expressed it in social media, and for that alone she has been put in jail, behind bars, in isolation, demonized, and been accused of terrorism. This is totally outrageous. It's totally outrageous that Kosovo government and Kosovo judiciary have become such a poodle of Trump and implementing injustice against his own citizens, against his own academic, just to please Trump. We know Kosovan government is weak when it comes to United States, but it should have some dignity, some independence. It should stand against this sort of injustice. Otherwise, what's the point of having independence when you don't have a judicial independence? There's no point to it. You might as well be a slave like you were part of the Balkans, rather than being a slave now under the new regime. We want Kosovan government to stand up within the international law. We want the Kosovan government to stand up as independent. We want the Kosovan government to stand up against the bullying of Trump and the United States. And we want them to stand for justice, human rights, and indeed independence. We are not against Kosovan government. We are just against that behavior which actually has made them the poodle of Trump. And so we say, in the name of justice, free, free Ikballe!
Free, free, Ikballe Huduti!
Free, Ikballe!
Free, free, Ikballe!
A small delegation politely rang the embassy doorbell, wanting to speak to a representative of the embassy, to explain why we were protesting outside.
Huduti now! Free Ikballe 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 Huduti now!
The embassy would not open the door.
Ambassador of Kosovo, we need to talk to you. Give us your face and talk to us.
Instead, they called the police, saying they were afraid there might be terrorists outside.